Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this August 4th, 2011 school board meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. We'll continue with our mission statement. The Newmarket School District is committed to the highest standards of quality education by creating a safe and successful learning community that embraces diversity in response to the social, emotional, intellectual, and physical needs of every child. We are dedicated to fostering links to the broader community to ensure that students develop lifelong skills, enabling them to be contributing and productive members of society. Welcome to those at home that may be watching. We've got a lot of cameras here looking at us, so I feel like paparazzi is somehow here. Yeah. This is a time that if there was anyone from the public that'd like to speak, they would do so, but seeing only cameras, we'll move on to minutes. Anyone like to make a motion regarding the minutes of our last meeting, July 21st?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 21st.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
I found nothing.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Excellent. Linda, as you recall, was unable to make this meeting this evening, but I'm sure she'll catch up along the way, and Melissa's obviously also not here. Jim, would you mind continuing with the good news that we have here in the middle of the summer?
Yeah, I have several things to talk about. First of all, as you know, we've had some personnel changes and reorganizations in the district, and over the last couple of weeks, I've had meetings with people that are now involved in the new structure. One of them is a library media specialist. You know, we had a librarian at both schools, and now we have one that covers the two schools with paraprofessionals. So the principals and I met with the new district library media specialist, talked about philosophy of running libraries and what we were looking for in both libraries. And we were really excited that I think philosophically we're all on the same page as to how we'd like to see libraries operate. And really had a very comfortable concept, I think, of how we're going to make both of them really effective places. So we're very pleased with that. And then had another terrific meeting, this time with the technology department. New tech operations manager, Dan Seuss, new director of instructional technology, Dave Clark, and Deb Boatwright, who'd been tech integrator at the elementary school and now becoming tech integrator district-wide. And so, again, had the two principals join in, and we all talked about roles and what were the real priorities for these people in the year ahead. And so, again, very productive meeting. Something that comes up under correspondence is a letter that we recently received from the New Hampshire Bureau of Special Education. They do periodic reviews for different reasons. This time in the review was the IDA regulation on timeliness of initial evaluations. Anybody who knows special ed knows a tremendous amount of regulations, deadlines that have to be met, and it's not unusual. Sometimes deadlines get missed, but here for this timeliness, we were 100% in compliance, so we're really excited that we were meeting the timeliness of doing those initial evaluations. I've got in here as well under correspondence a couple newsletters from Can't Conversation. This is a special education program, kids on the autism spectrum, and they've just had a terrific summer program that you can get a flavor for when you read the newsletters. Last thing, and that's the reason I think for these three cameras that are staring at you, we had good fortune of the town agreeing to a plan on purchasing a mobile studio. And that's what you see before you, really, are the three cameras, and the unit you see on the tabletop is all it takes to go out to mobile sites and begin broadcasting and or recording. And it's just terrific equipment. later on in the budget, later on in the evening under budget, you'll take up the purchase order. In order to get this equipment ASAP, I had to okay the purchase order for a total of $27,000 and change. And had we not done that, we'd have been in a long waiting line for perhaps half the school year. So I really wanted to jump on it, and that was my reason to do that. So we've got $20,000 that comes out of the cable contract. The contract allocated $10,000 a year for each year of the cable contract for the purpose of creating an educational channel. The concept is to purchase the equipment and begin to grow out a critical mass, I think, within the school of kids interested in being part of this. So we've already talked about forming a club in the beginning of the school year, and then creating educational programming on Channel 13, and then ultimately over time we hope to grow out of that and have our own station, which is part of this. Again, $10,000 comes every January is how it gets funded. So next January we'll get $10,000 to take care of some of the remaining expenses for this year. So it's pretty exciting to have this equipment here. It's very sophisticated camera equipment, and I know Chris Williams is really ecstatic about beginning to form a club. I've already talked with the principal about getting kids interested in it, and I think we will find some, and they'll have a great learning experience, and then ultimately maybe produce their own shows.
Excellent.
That's the game plan. That's it. That's all I have on the good news.
All right. Any questions regarding?
I was just
Other
wondering if
stuff?
we know of any other area schools that do that already, that produce their own shows. I was just curious, because it seems like a kind of cutting edge kind of thing, but we could be behind.
I don't really know here. I mean, my experience in my last two schools, high schools, we had the cable access station, if you will, the studio, located in the high school, and so that really facilitated things. And as we design this new school, that's the plan that we have as well, so that the place downstairs may be a satellite station, if you will, but there'd be a real home base at the school that could make it, because ultimately the goal of the principal and I and Chris is to have a course at the school in media productions, not just a class, but that may be a year or two away.
That's great.
Yeah.
Chet, do you remember? I'm trying to recall my tour when the Exeter High School was brand new. I want to say they've got some sort of a studio there as well.
I think they do.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. That's cool.
I'm guessing that some of the newer schools like Portsmouth
Yeah.
may also
Not
have
everybody does.
it
You're
integrated
right.
into the
Yeah.
building. Excellent.
Mhm.
All right. We don't have a student report this evening, but I guess all there would be to report would be something like summer practice for fall sports is probably coming up in the next week.
Fairly
or
soon.
two.
Yeah. Mhm. I don't know the exact dates, though.
Yeah. I'm sure the kids know, though.
Soccer starts next week,
Yeah.
2 days.
All right. So back to you, Dr. Hayes, for the superintendent's report.
I'm just going to comment on one thing, and that is that there are, again, policies for your approval later on this evening. It's a second reading, so we're looking for approval, and then those will be a backdrop to part of the work that we do on our retreat, which is on the 20th. That's all for that. Would you like me to roll into facilities?
Please
All right. Several things to comment on there. I had a meeting on July 26th with a fellow named Keith DuBois, who is the Brownfields Program Coordinator for the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. And you may recall from a previous meeting that this was something Joan had investigated, where it's state use of, for the most part, federal EPA money that filters through the state to do environmental studies of various projects. And so he came out to take a look at what we're trying to do with not only the high school, but actually the elementary property as well. And I spent about 2 hours with him walking all of the properties and him getting a feel for what issues were there. He then goes back and he has to put together an application which does go to the federal EPA, and they either endorse it or not. He was pretty optimistic about the 4 properties for the high school, senior high school, and a little bit less so for the elementary, but so this could lead to federal monies paying for the environmental studies, which I think could, be pretty extensive, and then also we had some conversation about some possible federal monies as well to help with any cleanup issues that might be on those sites. So that was pretty productive. He was good to talk to, and all of the owners that we ran into, we saw the people at the insurance company, and then also Rob Carpenter. They were very cooperative. Showed inside their facilities as well as outside. So good. It was a good morning.
Excellent.
Just a couple other things just to keep you up to date. Been spending a lot of time on the facilities master plan, making progress every day. Did have another conversation with the architect again this morning, and I know on their side they're making progress as well. For me, in terms of junior, senior high school, the progress from them will be, show me the first footprint and how you conceive of each of the 3 floors. And so that's a really important first step. The other thing is that I think if I understood him correctly, they're getting fairly close to being able to put a dollar figure on the elementary school project. So we'll have some cost estimate on that, hopefully in the near future. The last thing is that I did spend some time bringing the website up to date, so those folks that are kind of curious about where we've been and most recently what we've been doing, it's very much up to date. And so under the Newmarket website, just look for facilities and you'll find it.
Excellent.
That's all I have.
Any questions? All the prior? All right, excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have no formal program this evening, as we have some non-public matters that will take more than a couple minutes, so I think that's very appropriate. And so let's move on to correspondence, which you touched on already to some extent. I think that's wonderful to have such great feedback from the Department of Education.
Obviously, you see here a handwritten note from Jean. She was just kind of thrilled. So, yes.
So only way, there's nowhere to go up.
Seriously.
Except for extra credit.
Is that
I don't know
right?
if you can get bonus points
We'll
for
look
being
into it.
early. That's terrific.
Yeah. The second letter that's there is relative to our corrective action plan. I think this is the last piece, as I recall it, in the corrective action plan, the school meals initiative review. And so again, they approved our plan, and so now we're moving forward. So that's a piece of good news.
I know that Linda Hope's interim food service director. Have we posted for that? I mean, is there a process for hiring, or like?
That's already been handled.
You've already done that? I just don't remember.
She's interim for the year.
For the
We
year,
decided
okay.
Instead of, for 2 things. Perhaps she's not going to be happy with it, and she would give up her position. And secondly, to see if we can really make it, or if we're going to end up contracting out. And I didn't want to bring somebody in from another district, give up their job someplace else in a year to say, you know what, no matter what we do, it's not going to work. So we just
Makes sense.
decided to do interim, and then if things are going well, then next spring we'll just post it for real. And
I couldn't remember. I knew there was something there, but thank you.
We have the Camp Conversation newsletter that you
Yep.
spoke of.
Yeah.
2
of them.
editions.
And and that's all there is on the correspondence.
Okay. Excellent. Is Chris going to come back up and speak to the equipment that we have here? We know that it's not on.
He and I
right?
didn't coordinate that
Okay.
much, but he might be.
I think,
looked like he had an assistant with him, so maybe so.
But I think you spoke well to it, though, so it's...
Yeah, it's terrific. We're really thrilled about it.
Mhm.
But again, I stepped over an important step in our budgetary process to do that, and that is something of this amount of money needs
Oh.
your approval, so.
hello.
Hi. Just if you have anything briefly to share.
Well, I'm excited that we have this stuff. I'm still working out a few glitches in the system. These are all high definition cameras, which is really shocking when you get them this inexpensive. This is like these are like entry level professional HD cameras, and they're pretty powerful, pretty awesome machines. They use a native Canon file format that I'm still working out the glitches of finding compatible software amongst what I already own. There's a few transcoders out there that we can use off the web that are free. Well, Jim and I will probably be talking to the technology coordinator to see if, once we get the program rolling, what we might have to roll out for new computers. We're probably going to have to use Macs, because they seem to be the only thing that's supporting the file format that comes out of these machines. But I don't know how. I don't plan on using these as field cameras anytime soon. They're just, studio cameras. But they basically all integrate with this guy over here. And this is a mobile camera switcher. All the cameras run into it. I can control everything, teach the kids how to control it. It also has an intercom system. So these headphones here, we can communicate back and forth like they would in a real television studio. They got remote controls that we can utilize. And basically all recorded to this thing. And we can basically do pretty much all the editing out in the field when we're covering a graduation or a basketball game or a theater event. We can pretty much do everything in this and pretty much take the file that comes out of this recorder here and then pretty much plug it right up on channel 13 when it's done.
Wow.
With very little post-production, which is nice.
Yeah.
They also supplied us with a laptop. We can run into this and we can use PowerPoint to play like computer graphics and overlays when we're playing games. So I'm hoping that not only will there be students involved in video production, but maybe students that are Photoshop and graphic design. They can help us generate nice graphics for the station. Kids that want to get into like journalism, writing, they can do some writing for the station. We can get like a student weekly news show going, which would be pretty interesting. And really, the sky's the limit. I gave Jim a pretty off the top of my head proposal I wrote over the weekend. So that's what I like to think. That's great.
So this is like a miniature version of what's going on at Fenway right now, where that's the truck.
Yeah,
And
basically,
then there's a bunch of cameras that are out around.
It's incredible. I mean, the fellow that sold us this equipment from Access AV over in Concord, as he was putting together the quote and everything and the proposal based on what I gave him, I did some specking out of equipment online, and all the stuff I was specking out was, he said, you can't get that stuff anymore. It's standard definition and we don't sell it. But for less money than what I had originally spec'd out, I was able to get HD cameras.
Wow.
And a unit that's a lot more portable. If I had spec'd out a unit, I would have to literally build each time I wanted to set it up. But this thing just unfolds and comes out at once.
Wow. You set it up pretty quickly, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, obviously the wires aren't set
Sure.
up, but that's the next goal, is to, I think it's really going to fly well, and hopefully the students will be interested in doing something.
I think you'll find there'll be some
Yeah.
really interested students. I'm glad that we can offer them that.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few students that maybe have wanted to go and take the video and computer stuff at SST, and there isn't space.
Yeah.
So I really think we can reach out to the students that might have an interest in this, but can't take it at another school because there's no space.
And who knows, sometimes.
SST.
Yeah, we're starting our own. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you give kids, they'll take it. They'll come to you. I'm sure they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, can we do this now? Can we do
Yeah.
that now?
Yeah.
It'll be great to see how they can
A lot of creative opportunities.
utilize it.
One thing we haven't mentioned is that, I mean, this equipment's obviously going to be securely stored in this building, and so as a club, it would operate downstairs after school and after time, so kids would have to walk down the street.
A lot of them
to
probably
get to the
already
club.
do.
Probably already do. It didn't seem like a big deal, and it
No.
just gives a nice big open area to be
Yeah.
creative with.
And I feel like once we're talking with the administration over at the schools, that we can start saying who are the teachers that know students that might be interested, and then we can start developing on the program, because I suggested to Jim that other things we can do with this equipment is we can put informational programming up on Channel 13 related to stuff that the parents might find useful. like how to use your Infinite Campus websites, how to read the report cards, different things you talk about during your school board meetings, but we could actually put that stuff specifically up as like, graphical items with someone hosting.
Like a tutorial kind of thing,
Tutorial,
and
yeah.
certain things, yeah.
We could have, the principals give tours of the schools and put those on the web. There's all sorts of
That's
things
great,
we could be
guys.
doing.
Wonderful.
Great.
You got some new toys.
Yeah.
Educational tools.
Yes, no, I know, I'm sorry.
But you do have to approve the purchase.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Students that departments could use it
Yeah.
and showing their staff on how they actually represent themselves to the students.
Mhm.
The departments.
We did that way back at Exeter. We used to do all this stuff. When you were teaching, you actually took a picture of your entire class and you could study it, run it back.
Like a self-evaluation
Yeah.
kind of thing, yeah.
In high definition.
Yeah. There's so much you can.
There is.
That's great.
Super. So this would be a good time, I suppose, to have a motion regarding the approval for this purchase. Maybe would like to offer such a thing?
We've already bought it, so you want the motion to be.
Well, I guess we need a
Complies
motion.
with your policy.
Yeah.
Haven't paid for it yet.
Right.
So how would you state it?
Can you just
Recommend the purchase of a mobile studio equipment for the sum of.
$27,296.
That's accurate.
You didn't finish talking about the funding.
I did.
Yeah, you said
I thought I maybe had in my notes. Okay, yeah. Again, it's 2,700 and
27,000.
27,300 approximately. And because this equipment really is shared, it's a town resource. Okay, we're using $20,000 that comes to us to purchase the greater part of it, and then the remaining 7,300 will actually be transferred to us from the town's technology budget. I assume that's where it's coming from. But the town is paying for a portion of this.
So they could use it also.
Oh, absolutely, right, for anything, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then out of the remaining, the 10,000 that comes in January, in effect, we're gonna end up paying Chris to do the work, his salary, his stipend for running a club, and things of that sort, plus any other equipment he mentioned, maybe needing a Mac and things like that, so the money's gonna be there, it's not coming out of our regular district funds to make it happen, and so that's the hope, is that we can keep this thing moving for the next 4 or 5 years anyway, just based on that $10,000 annual amount that comes to us.
So we need a
Yeah.
second? Did you make that motion?
It sounded like a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
With
Yeah,
some help
okay.
along the middle. If
Does Jen
if you
have
say
the?
so.
Well, let me restate it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept, it's called Assesses AV, audio video, for a price of $27,296.
I'll second.
Further discussion? You earlier said, I want to say there was $20,000.
It's
In year
it's a
one, and then-
27,3 purchase, okay?
Mhm.
And then money will be coming to us from the town to cover that expense. 20,000 is already due to us because of the, that $10,000 a year from the cable. And then when I clarified it with Doug Poulin, who you see his name on the quote, Doug's been involved in planning this thing out too, I raised the question, is that going to be on the district side, or is the town sharing in this purchase? And he said, no, we'll take care of that remaining piece.
So presently, we're due $20,000 from Comcast.
That's right.
And then the 7,300 will be coming from the town, or in January from Comcast?
All of the money really comes from the town. The $20,000 is revenue generated by the Comcast
Cable contract.
cable contract, right. So then the town makes the allocation of that to us. It's a separate allocation to cover the rest of this.
And they already
But so-
approved that in one of their meetings, right?
I know they approved the $20,000. The other amount is just a commitment from Doug that he would find the money to do that.
So to just make sure it's clear, this has zero impact on any taxes collected or expended. It's all
Right.
cable monies that go into the town's accounts, and then they're expended from there.
Right.
Okay. Just want to make sure that that's clear, that this isn't taxpayer money directly.
Right.
Okay, any last thoughts? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so we I guess jumped part of the business department update. Joan, do you have other budget summary information for us this evening?
I apologize, I don't have anything to hand out. We're having a little problem with our computers. Really can't print anything if it's on our server. So I do have information of how we're wrapping up the end of the year. We ended up with about $130,000 unexpended out of our budget. We had the budget freeze, and we were worried about our revenues, the food service deficit, those types of things. So we ended our year with about $132,000. When we figure out covering the deficits in the other funds and the revenue deficit, we'll probably end the year with around $38,000 or $40,000. So your hope of putting $250,000 into trust is not going to pan out. That $40,000 will be divvied up between, I call the Department of Revenue, and that money is divvied up the way that it was allocated, so a fifth, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they do the paperwork on that and come back and they make the allocations that way. But I did want to share that I had gotten approval from you back maybe in May to be able to go to the special ed trust fund because we were way over in our special ed cost. We didn't. So we balanced the budget here with the money we had, and we didn't hit the trust fund. So although we don't have $250,000 to put into the different trust funds, we didn't hit the special ed trust fund at all, which is really a good thing because I think next year it's going to be much worse because she had a lot of changes in the kids' ed plans over the spring, and our budget was already passed. So we had new placements. So I think that it's a good thing that we didn't have to touch the special ed trust fund. So hopefully by the next meeting I'll have something I can hand out to you so you can see it. So.
Hopefully those problems will be resolved before our next meeting.
Let's hope.
And it's another example, not the computer challenges, but how important having those funds is, that we have that contingency for special education available, that we're looking at needing that for next year.
Right, and some of our issues with our servers, we may be coming back. I don't know off the top of my head what we have left in the technology trust fund, but we don't have the money budgeted to be able to fix our problems right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we may have to hit the trust fund for that as well. So
Maybe taking out the
a little bit of money that's
$32
left,
that we're
right.
putting into it. A little bit more than that, but
Yeah.
What was the total left, 38?
It was $132,000 as a total of unexpended balance, but we had revenue deficits. Medicaid didn't come through as much as we had budgeted, but you're going to have around $38,000 left at the end of the day.
Okay.
If there's any changes to that, I'll let you know. We were combing through the accounts today and came upon about $18,000 that had been charged to the district budget that should have been charged to grants. We were able to we haven't closed our books. We were able to transfer it back to the grants, so that opened up some more money for us. 'Cause I had originally told Jim we had $20,000 left. That was last week.
It's getting better by the week.
Overall, I mean, we had a lot of expenses that we didn't budget when you built your budget last year. We had a lot of legal expenses that really
Yes.
did a job on some of the
Mhm.
accounts. So.
Okay, any questions for Joan?
Nope.
Right. On to policy then. We've got several 6 for second read. Some of them are just review. Jim, do you want to?
Want me to comment on some of these? Yeah, okay. We have a policy called Evaluation of Board Operational Procedures. It's a fairly short policy. I didn't include it this time because it didn't require any changes. But it basically lays out the expectation that the board does an annual review of its procedures. And up until now, we've not had any mechanism to do that. As I dug around a little bit, I found that the School Boards Association had available this procedures form, which can be utilized by boards. It's not required, but utilized by boards to do that assessment. And so I put it out there as a suggestion that it might be a document you may want to incorporate as policy and then use annually to just check on how are we doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it includes a lot of good conversation starters, if you will, like different ways of looking at how we've done. Now, the evaluation of board operational procedures was included in the packet, policy BA. Are we looking for?
A week ago it was, yeah. Oh, was it in this one?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
on the other side.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Okay.
Are we looking
Yes,
for
I'm sorry.
affirmation of that
I did,
one as
yeah,
well?
because I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I put this one down as a review purely because it was last adopted in 2008, and we're in this mode of trying to review them periodically, so I thought since it was there, if you endorsed it again, then it would have a 2011 review date. There's no recommended changes in here, it's just for your review.
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion regarding the review, or
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept policy BA review, evaluation of board operational procedures.
I'll second that.
any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so then the next one is the BAR, the evaluation tool, if you will, form.
I'll make a motion to accept the new evaluation of board operational procedures form BA-R.
I'll second that also.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Next one is policy BBA and then BBA-R, and they deal with school board powers and duties. The first one is obviously very short, and I've only put it there as a review for the same reason as the other review one you just did, to get an updated date of review on it. And then the related one is just much more descriptive. It is the language included in the law, so that that is a recommended policy. It just makes it part of policies, show more specifically what BBA is all about.
So for those who might be watching at home, essentially BBA is just the legal citations of what the school board powers and duties are, and that we'll follow them. Is there a motion regarding BBA?
I make a motion to accept policy BBA, school board powers and duties.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then BBAR, the legal language.
I'll make a motion to accept the new school board powers and duties, Part ED 303, duties of school boards, BBA-R.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right.
The next policy is BBAA, which is board member authority, and by that it means the authority that you may retain as an individual. We had an existing policy. When I investigated, there was an updated policy recommendation, and it just made sense to simply eliminate the previous language and add in the new the new language that you see there.
Motion regarding this policy?
I'll make a motion to accept policy BBAA, board member authority.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I'd just like to just make a point that we're replacing the language that's there. The old language really, I don't think, is in conflict with the new language. It's just
Yeah.
the
Outdated.
new language is more clear.
Right.
I think it's, and also it includes legal reference, which is always helpful for those who want to dig into the Hows and Whys. Other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And the last policy is policy BCB, dealing with board member conflict of interest. There is no change to this policy, again, similar to the other two. It was dated 2008, so since it's really relevant to all of these, I thought we'd put a 2011 date on it for your review.
I'll make a motion to accept the policy BCB, board member conflict of interest.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Already to the calendar page of the agenda. That's just crazy. But before we go there, I always have to ask if there's any resignations or other leave requests.
No, they're not.
It's a bad time of year for that.
Yes.
And we've had no vacancies, so we wouldn't have any opportunities for nominations.
Well, I will tell you that we do have a vacancy. It's grade 8 math. Similar to the health position we had earlier this spring. We had contracted with a person to teach grade 8 math for us. She came from a district where she was being riffed. And then in the late stages of June, early July, that school district determined that it could fill that position, that she wouldn't have to leave. And so, you know, the same as what we had done before, saying, look, we'll have a conversation with you and try and convince you to come with us. But in the end, we only want people with us who want to be with us. And her desire was to go back to the job that she had. So we do have a vacancy, and we're out there looking for a math teacher to teach grade 8, which is a tough get this time of year. But we've posted and advertised, so we'll see what we get.
Okay. We have the manifest.
Yes, we do. I would make a motion to accept the total of all manifests in the amount of $151,183.29.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Oh, yeah.
The rest of it needs to go back to Joan.
Sorry.
And you're the hawk over there, Jeff. You didn't bring the hawk this week, though.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Next week.
Do you have any Raptors?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I look forward to those.
I'm gonna field trip with you.
Yeah.
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 I was going to say.
Yeah.
high
We can meet
definition.
at your house
right.
next time.
I've already had it done, by the way, by Exeter.
Ah, yeah,
Well, we can now produce
used
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
right. In high def.
All right. To the calendar. I note a glaring omission.
The board retreat,
The board retreat on the 20th.
Right.
What time?
8:30.
8:30, I believe.
Till,
Till close.
oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
What was it, till like noon?
No,
12:30?
exactly, it was all day.
Was it all
I think
day?
it's pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll
I was
not
late.
be an all-day affair.
We had it 8:30 to 2.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that sounds right. Yeah.
We'll stay on task.
Mm-hmm.
Get our homework done early. Who knows? Anything else of note?
September.
Our next meeting is the 18th. There's a whole lot of August still to
Yeah,
go, Chet,
we still
before we
gotta-
talk about
I know.
September. First day of school is July 29. Or, July.
July?
Ah,
August.
August 29. Some kids thought they were late. Anything for September?
Not yet.
All right.
Woohoo.
Then unless there's other business, I'd entertain a motion to go into non-public session, RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, paragraphs A and C, which is for discussion of personnel and real property matters.
So moved.
Ooh, tie.
It's all right. He can have it.
You're gonna have.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
Kelly?
Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying.
No, can't do that.
Oh, right.
Roll
Thank you.
call.
Don't take that away from me.
I knew that somehow seemed
He's got a
awkward.
duty.
Cliff Chase,
Aye.
Kelly Foster,
Aye.
Chet Jablonski,
Aye.
Meg Moore.